that we have seen Ironheart for the most part, most of us. And what are we thinking about? I'm going to go ahead and take this down and then just give us thumbs up, thumbs down. Let's just be honest now. Listen, I'm going to keep it real. I don't want to trash or speak ill of a Black-led project, but I will be honest. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm going to go ahead and take this movie set down in 3, 2, and 1. 2, 1.
Ty, you have nothing?
Oh, my bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. I was caught up. I was caught in the comments. I was in the comments. My bad.
You're in the comments. That's cool. That's cool. Well, yo, look, I can say I like it without feeling no kind of way. I'm gonna keep it real. It started a little slow for me, ever so slightly, just a slight slow. There was like the first 10 minutes, I was like, oh, I'm seeing Marvel formula. You know how when you watch like a CW show, you're like, oh, this is a CW show. This doesn't look nothing at all like a CW show, but what I mean is that you are able to kind of recognize the Marvel formula, right? And when you start to be able to predict what's going to happen or how things are going to happen in a show, I think it starts to lose a bit of its luster. So I think that was like the first 10, 15 minutes of the first episode. But after that, bro, can we just call out some of our favorite scenes and some of the all right. I love when Lil Boy was like, yo, can I carry your stuff? Cause like, you know, it don't look too, you looking real weird, right? You looking real messed up right now. You don't look good. Like, I like that element. I like the whole element of her being like a hustler on campus, even though some could argue that wasn't necessary. I like the idea of her working with these dudes and with these folks that are essentially kind of like following a somewhat pseudo Robin Hood type model right now. And I love the character Hood right now. I like this villain. I know we had the Pink Riot co-host on not too long ago, and Keisha from the Blerd Library was a little concerned about whether or not this villain would be good enough for Riri. And I gotta say, this villain is giving ill Killmonger vibes, yo. Like, I like when Ty, I know you want the villain. Like, I just want to kill babies and, you know what I'm saying, destroy the earth and shit.
I know I'm not gonna get that from Marvel, probably ever. But yes, I would like to see some babies killed.
But on the list of fleshed out villains, I think Killmonger is one of the ones that we don't mind, right? Because we kind of supported his narrative to an extent with him saying, like, why the fuck y'all wasn't here for all black people when Wakanda had all these weapons and all this tech and we was getting chained up and we was told to not go to certain schools. We get that. I get a hint of that in this. Do you not, Ty? Am I misreading that?
Are we talking about the Hood?
Yes.
You get a hint of what? Revolutionary?
Absolutely.
Where do you get that from? I get criminal.
Okay, well, all right. Well, I
get thief. I get all the things that he is.
I'll tell you where I get it. I'll tell you where I get it from. Because he gave this speech where he's like, yo, I see y'all. You know, all these other folks out here with the billions of dollars that they never gonna give it to you. They're gonna drag you through all this red tape, even though you all in this room are more than likely more talented, more educated, more intelligent than the overwhelming majority of those tech boys down in Palo Alto. I see y'all for what y'all worth. And even though they not giving it to us, we gonna take it because we earned it type shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that that's a goody to, you know, somebody to look up to, but there's a message behind it. It's not just evil. I just want to get money, get rich, go get an island. It's like, yo, look, man, we deserve the same shit that other motherfuckers are getting access to, but we're not getting it. And so since we're not, we're going to take it. Okay. You don't like,
that's still, you're still stealing. And more.
So was Killmonger in him. I mean,
yo, listen, I'm not comparing the Hood to a revolutionary. I'm comparing him to someone who's tired of being broke. Listen, we gotta acknowledge the fact that this man has been stealing a long time. Like his whole powers comes from a hood that he stole. It comes from boots that he stole. He's literally trying to get everybody on this page of I know who you are by stealing. We're all gonna go steal. And he's not like we're gonna go steal and build up Chicago. He's like we're gonna steal, and then when we steal from them and we get them on we're gonna go steal from their friends. And then once we steal from their friends and they start talking about us, we're going to go steal from their friends. And then at some point, we're going to be at the top of the food chain and may be able to be the ones to get stole from. So I just feel like it really is a ongoing, no revolutionary.
Okay, all right, well hold on, because Mandalore is ripping me a whole new butt in the comments. I'm not trying to compare the two as if say like Killmonger, the Hood of equal origin. I'm just saying that this is another villain that is not driven, I feel like, simply by malevolence, or maybe because I'm only through the second episode, maybe I've missed something that y'all have seen. But one of the last things I saw was his monologue to the group, so maybe I should just shut my ass up and finish watching everything. Because
maybe you're thinking of his character from like in the Heights, and you're maybe in Hamilton. You're just liking the fact that he's always I think you're waiting for that moment when he breaks out into song on screen, and then all is well because he sings a song. Nah, man, this dude is not a good guy. Like he's not a good guy. I think whatever intentions he had on being a good guy probably started leaving him once he started, morphing into a demon. Do you know what's going on with the Hood? Like, did you read up on him? Do you know anything about this guy? Like, he's a career criminal. He's not like a guy that turns good and
okay.
Hey, all right. Syndicate or some type of crime family. Like, this is how he gets down. He's a career criminal. And by the way, he didn't just hire these people because they were the bottom, like what he was saying, that whole monologue about, I see you guys, people didn't appreciate. Slug is one of the most, what did he say? I'm one of the most to the top criminals in all of Madripoor because we used to rob people. We used to, like kill people and rob people. The two girls that he hired, they're known for beating the shit out of people, and they're all criminals. You said what's wrong with it?
But they wasn't just beating up kids. They was in rings. They was like in fight clubs and shit. Like you acting like they was that
was something that they enjoyed to do in their pastime. But they beat the shit out of people on a regular. Like this is what they're good at.
Willing participants.
Oh my God! I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. You was just talking about the revolutionaries. Now you like
come on, yeah,
it's all good.
Can you guys hear me? I had to switch my headphones.
Yes. Yeah, we hear you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm sorry, but the girls, remember when they were all sitting around the table? I don't know if you got to this part or not, but they're like, "What you gonna do with your money?" Oh, we're gonna start an underground fight club.
What's wrong with that?
That's their goal with their money. That's what they're gonna do for a living. I'm just letting you know, like everybody in that group is a fucking criminal. Vince, let that shit go. Okay, they are not Robin Hood. They're criminal. Slug, criminal. Like he can't go to certain places. He's hiding from the police. Okay, the Hood, he's literally hiring people. And remember, the guy. You said you're on episode 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're starting to see when they getting together to do the heisting and stuff like. Okay, so
I saw the heist.
Okay, so there's more. Okay, so you're gonna see more, and you're gonna find out that the Hood, he hired all these people for ulterior motives of his past.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like he is a bad guy, Vince. Like he's He's like Killmonger, but I'm gonna hire people to do my bidding, and then when they don't do what I need them to do,
I see. Okay,
you see what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna take him out, and then still get what I'm looking for because he got this hood that can do all these superpowers that people don't know what it can do. But then he's got these weird. What's up with the? I don't know what's going on with his body. It's reacting to the hood, or like what's up with that? Does anyone know like why that is part of his powers? Like what's going on with him?
I'm sure we could ask Lady Mandalore if she was in the comments section. But go ahead. Ty's done a lot of research.
You talking about the hood's powers?
Yeah, like okay, yes. So the stuff that's like on his body from the hood. What is that?
So I looked up the stuff on the hood. So the hood basically stole the hood and some boots from a demon. And what the items that he's using are basically corrupting him. And the more he uses it, the more he's corrupted. But right now, the powers that he showed on screen is invisibility. He also has the ability to levitate. He also has the ability to bend bullets and add this power to pistols and firearms and stuff like that. When I did my research on him, he's like a low-level criminal, but he's like he is most of his relationships is with Dormammu. What is it? Dormammu? How do you say it? Dormammu. And Loki. Like he has like interactions with them throughout the Marvel comics. At some points he gets some Norn stones and is able to increase his powers and also increase the powers of others. He has some interesting abilities, but they all mostly come from the cloak. He also can change into a demon, like a demon hybrid at some point, which I think as the show goes along we may or may not see. So yeah, I mean he's an interesting villain.
I don't know enough about it, so maybe I should just kind of fall back a little bit until I finish watching the first 3 episodes, because I literally hopped on just after he gave this motivational speech to like his clique, and I was like, oh. I was like, oh, he cares. Oh, look at the villain, he cares. And then I'm also like looking at everything through this weird lens. I play devil's advocate. I'll probably come out with a skit about it. But I mean, look, well, let me not. I can't. Let me suspend any thoughts about the hood for the time being. But okay, Yazzie, are you about to
break it down?
Okay, so in the Marvel Encyclopedia, it says that the Hood actually worked with Kingpin, and he was in some shady stuff. He stumbled upon a demon inside a warehouse doing his shady stuff, and he killed it and stole the Hood. And this is how we have the Hood now.
Oh, thank you, Yaz.
Break it down.
All right. What else? Since we like the show, what else do we like? Do we like moms? Do we like
Natalie?
The crystals? Do we like the Natalie AI, which is clearly her Jarvis, right? Mm-hmm. And them giving her some sort of backstory? Do we? We see Aunt. No, you're not liking the Jarvis Natalie stuff. No, not your thing.
Nah. So
no?
I mean, I like that they. So I think the actress is doing all right. I don't like the way that she's written. She annoys me at times, and I'm trying to be careful about what I say because I don't want to spoil anything. But overall, the Natalie character just she could just be annoying.
What? Could you elaborate, sir?
I don't want to say too much because I don't know where. I don't want to spoil beyond episode 3. I only saw up to episode 3, but like she has this. if you haven't seen it yet, like you'll see aspects of her personality come out that like it's not just you. Like characters in the show is gonna be like, yo, when will she shut the fuck up? Like, yo, like,
Yo, come on.
Oh man. I think possibly because you have kids in that age range, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's probably why she comes off to you so annoying, because you're just like, oh my gosh, I could just hear one of my kids just like like shut up. So I think that's probably why Aunt specifically Natalie comes off as super annoying to you, is because of her range of age and her character, and like her way she messes with Riri and jabs at her. I mean, I'm sure that, in some way or form you have dealt with that, you know what I'm saying, with your kids. So that's why I think that. But I mean, I see your point. I do with Natalie, and how, she does nonstop talk, but I think that's why she was written that way, because she's supposed to be like, hey, Riri, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's her best friend, you know what I'm saying? So best friends, there are our greatest and worst, you know what I'm saying, like things in our lives sometimes, and that's technically what Natalie is. She's there to boost her, but also, Riri, did you know what I'm saying? Like it's pretty funny. They're back and forth. Actually, it works perfectly, I think, for the show.
Ty, do you agree with all of this?
I agree with the critique that Yaz just gave. I think this Riri is at this point, I think 19 or 20 years old, based off of the timelines and everything that they said. This is 5 years after Natalie, basically, and her stepfather got shot and killed. I'm assuming because they didn't really allude to it. I mean, they just kind of said the shots, so I'm assuming that's how they died. They died by gunshots. But Natalie is definitely the best friend, and is definitely giving best friend energy. I think one of the things that they're doing well is they still haven't really elaborated on how Natalie operates, because she operates way different than Jarvis.
Yeah.
Like, Jarvis was more of an AI that, you know what I'm saying, whenever Tony called on Jarvis or would ask Jarvis, that Natalie is totally independent. Like, she's a total independent AI, which is again, I'm guessing as the show goes on, they'll elaborate, but I know it seems as though a part of Riri's subconscious was downloaded, and when she did that download, and somehow it manifested into Natalie, maybe because she's always thinking about them or whatever. But I'd have to join Ant with how I felt about her the first time. I watched this Ironheart twice. So I watched it the first time, and when I watched it the first time, she was super annoying. I'm not even gonna say her in front. But then I watched it again, and then I kind of watched it with an understanding of what her purpose is. And her purpose is to not just be a yes man.
Correct.
Her purpose is to be the best friend that be like, girl, what you doing?
Right.
You about to do some wild stuff. Yo, they dangerous over there. Like, you need to, you know what I'm saying? This is not like I'm just asking Jarvis, yo, Jarvis, how many people are in the building? There's 8 people in the building, Tony. You got this is not that. This is her AI is like, girl, don't go over there across them street. Them dudes look shady.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I get that. So as I watched it, it kind of grew on me a little bit, and I was like, all right, Natalie, I rocks with you. I see what you really about. But I had go ahead, and then I have a question.
No, go ahead, finish.
This is what I was a little confused about, right? So is Xavier Natalie's brother?
I was wondering that too.
I don't know.
Because I think the best friend is supposed to be his sister, right? And then I couldn't tell, like, if the Natalie
is the best friend, right?
Right.
This is why I'm asking what I'm asking, and I know you want to answer, and I want you to give me what you can give me. So my thing is this, right? Xavier said is a lot of things that I paid attention to. Xavier said, I remember he had a front row seat at everything stepdad did with her and Natalie. He also said, yo, I came by to see the mural that they did for Natalie and stepdad. Boom, boom, boom. But he called her. He didn't say my dad. He told Riri. He said your stepdad.
Yeah, he did.
But so then I was like, well, is he Natalie's brother? But they have different fathers, or what? Because he also said, I keep these headphones because she had them all, like since she was little. And so I'm like, well, who are you, dude?
Yeah.
Because and then there was a message that said Big Sis needs you to do something to Xavier. It was on the walkie-talkie. Said Big Sis when she starts hearing the recording of Natalie talking, and she said, Big Sis needs something from you, bro, whatever. So I don't know if this is like, how sometimes you were so close to somebody, you'd be like, oh, that's Big Sis or that's Sis. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, what's going on? Are they related or not, man? And how old is Xavier? Because he looks older than Riri, but he's supposed to be younger if you talk about Big Sis from Natalie. So answer some questions, man. Let's go.
And
Yes.
Yes. You did not Ryan Coogler us.
Yes.
Oh man.
No. Answer your question. Yeah, that they are siblings.
Okay. But they got the same dad. They got different dad. You're gonna answer that question, or you're just gonna leave it at the yes?
So Natalie and Xavier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Natalie and Xavier are siblings, and the stepfather is just Riri's stepfather. He's not at all related to Natalie or Xavier, but they
were just close, like best friends, sisters type thing.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense.
Like, there's a relationship obviously with Riri and her stepfather, but what we're going to see more is how Black people could be have that village mentality where we're all communal with one each other, where we're all helping with each other, where we're all just supporting each other further in the show, that will make their care for each other make more sense. You'll understand, like, yo, why is Xavier so invested in Riri's stepfather? You're gonna get that later. You're gonna see that later. You're gonna be like, oh, like they were all, it was just like one big family type of environment. And that is something that I think will make a lot of what we see happen with Riri's character make sense. I don't want to say too much that'll be too much of a spoiler, but this is probably like you, Ty. I had to watch the show twice, right? The first time I watched it, I was like, I don't like it. And then I turned it on a second time, and I was like, I started to pay attention a little bit more, and I started to watch it with a different lens and different set of eyes. And I think that was a big help, because then I stopped looking at it just as purely as like an Avengers type of world show, and I started looking at it as more of like, this is a show for young adults. This is that coming of age. I'm 19 years old. I'm like, why is Riri a criminals? Because at 19, you don't really know what the fuck you want to do. You might get caught up in the wrong crowd, even with the best intentions. And this is that story, even in the comics. And I'm one of those people who, I have my comic. I'm one of those people that I've been here for a while. Yeah, autographed by the creator of Riri. But I'm one of those. I started looking at it more of just like that young adult story. I started to appreciate those themes, and it's like it's a young adult story that happens to take place in Marvel. And then if you're looking at it of like, hey, this is a young adult story, maybe it is that CW story, that Dawson's Creek, we graduated high school, what are we going to do for the rest of our lives type story, and then you sprinkle in some Marvel type stuff in it. that's when I started to understand and appreciate the show a lot more. And from that understanding of where they were coming from, this is easily one of my favorite Marvel shows that they put on Disney Plus.
Well, Ed, you're saying okay, because look, like I said, I watched it twice.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that Natalie and Xavier are not the stepfather's biological kids?
Correct.
It takes a village to raise children, so it's kind of like their best friends, their whole family, like they're it's like cousins. You know what I'm saying? Like you raise
it's Riri's stepfather. So think about this as well, right?
Because I could have swore the only reason I'm saying that is because in the scene where they're in the garage, Natalie calls Riri's stepdaddy daddy. He said look when the gunfire started happening, right before that, he said pass me the wrench, baby. She said, okay, daddy. Now I maybe I need to put on my subtitles so I can read the words, because sometimes people have lingos and words sound different. But I could have swore that was their dad, because remember, Xavier, from what I saw, Xavier lives alone, but yet he's younger than Riri. Which, if that's the case, then that means he's probably 18 or 17 or whatever the case may be, but he lives by himself. And when Natalie showed up on the screen for Ronnie, which is Riri's mom, she was like, can you bring Gary back too?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So there is that. And again, I hear you. And I think some people in the comments, Serenity says she's gonna go check out the scene right now and come back and report to us.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that they're not related. I'm pretty sure even in the comics, they weren't related, because they're the
neighborhood dad,
father, Natalie, they were actually characters in the books. And I think that only difference was the circumstance in which they got murked, as opposed to it being by Chicago violence the way it was here. But I'm pretty sure that they're not related, and it's more so just them being like that communal environment. So this is what I was trying to touch on. Like, you got to understand, Riri's stepfather, right? So that means this man met this woman and she already had a kid. And Riri, the personality that she is, she's got an A-type personality. I would imagine she probably had guards up on some dude coming up in her house, no matter what age she is. And if she's gotten to the point where she's accepted him the way that she has, this is a stand-up dude. And he not only stepped in to be the paternal figure in Riri's life, he probably saw Riri had some friends that don't have men in their lives either. So they're going to all come hang out at my garage after school. I'm going to keep an eye on them. And their friends might call me daddy too. Even if it's just jokingly, even if it's just in passing, even if it's just once in a blue. And that's the way that I took their relationship. I think that this dude was just that kind of dude. He came in, he got with moms, he melted Riri's icy heart, and he became that figure for everybody in the neighborhood. Everybody who needed it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's neighborhood dad.
He's Pops.
Yeah.
Pops.
Barbershop type shit. You know what I'm saying? Coming to America. Oh, man. Hey, man. You never met Martin Luther King.
Shout out to think about it. He had a shop, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sure all the kids, you know what I'm saying, like came to the shop after school or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and he would teach them different things. Like, I mean, they were in his shop. They were in Gary's shop when they died.
Well, yeah, I mean, his family. That is interesting. Like, hopefully, maybe it'll be revealed. All we know right now is Mom Dukes was with the young lady. I mean, so this means that there may be multiple tragedies in her life already. What do we think, real quick, before we move on to a couple other things, about the depiction of Chicago? Are we in line with it? Is anybody have y'all been to Chicago?
No, but I watched The Shy. I watched all 7 seasons of The Shy. I mean, I don't know. Unless they're shooting that in Atlanta too. I don't know.
Well, I mean, because like I said, they just said they were shooting in Atlanta, and I understand why, because Atlanta is a little bit kind of like Black Hollywood right now, and you can make a set anywhere. But I mean, the depiction of Chicago, not just with regard to like, because there's a few things I noticed. Did you notice like she had to go to she dragged her suit? Remember she went to old boy. She's like, yo, let me get the suit. She's like, price went up or some shit. And then she dragged it on the train to the north side. How do you know it's the north side, Ty? Because everybody on the train is wearing Cubs shit.
Cubs.
Everybody is rich in Cubs shit. And the Cubs, for those who don't know, is the north side team. The Chicago White Sox are the south side team. So if you see Chicago White Sox, then what they're saying is we're on the south side right now, where the Wild Hundreds are, around MLK, all that other stuff. You see them on the north side, you're going to see a lot of Cubs shit. You know what I'm saying? Lakeshore Drive, Michigan Avenue, all that other bullshit. And so I liked it. I loved seeing that scene where they were sitting there drinking all, and the Cubs are assholes. And they're a bunch of assholes. And they was acting like assholes on the shit too. So I like that. I like the way that they had, and this is where I want to say, this has to have been Shanaka, bro. Bro, they had the white lady straight trolling with him. You're like, could you have your dog like not shit on my lawn? She's like, well, actually, my dog has to shit on your lawn.
Like,
what do you mean? Like,
just deal with it.
I was like, come on, Shanaka. Like, I know that you. I know
like
that
your grass is wet.
Like, she made a literal Karen. Just stand all slamming shit. Oh yes, well, I know. And then she's like, well, could you at least pick it up? Like, no, I'm out of plastic.
Not about
I was like, yes. Northside wins. Well done. Go ahead, man.
Yo, there was a couple of things in throughout the series that I really, really enjoyed, and I'm gonna spotlight really, really quick. Number one, Dean Troy. Dean Troy. Look.
Hey, Ty's gonna spotlight some things.
All right. Look, number one, I think her name is Dean Troy, or Roy, or whatever the case may be, but the black dean at MIT was that whole interaction with Riri in that moment where she's telling her, look, I'm trying to make spaces for people like us, and like, yo, like, you're over here like doing some stuff that could jeopardize that in the future for all of us, and look, I want you to succeed more than anybody, but you over here wilding. And then when Riri was like, yo, this is why I did it, and then Dean Troy called her on it, was like, yeah, that's cap. that's 100% bullshit. And I was like, yo, that's probably Shanaka in that moment, like, because I was like, yo, now that I feel that 100%, like, yo, we gonna support each other in things, but when you right, you right. When you wrong, you wrong. And sometimes I gotta. If me loving you is me correcting you in that moment, rather than just overlooking, this what you're doing. And I really respected that. Also, the way that Shanaka is showing you the difference between Tony Stark and Riri Williams in the way that she's able to make this technology with little to no money. It's crazy. That whole scene where she's in her apartment putting back together the robot that was basically shattered to pieces when she landed crazy, and she's using the metals and stuff off of she pulled the fuse box metal door off, hooks up stuff to boot the bot up. She's using all of the household products. You know what I'm saying, to literally patchwork a freaking Iron Man suit. That is genius. That is straight up genius. The way she's showing the parallels between a billionaire and a girl with just ingenuity ingenuity. And I'm like, yo, like that, this is yo. So yes, I was very, very much that was one of the scenes that kind of resonated with me when I watched it over again. And just for me, I love the way that Thorne is acting. Her acting is superb. Like I have never seen her before in anything else. I'm not saying she hasn't been anything else, but I've never seen her before. And
wasn't she in higher How Do They Fall? She wasn't in the How Do They. Oh no, that was the other. I'm sorry.
No,
that was the other young lady. Yeah, okay. No, not Zazie, but the other one who played.
You talking about the one that woman in the yard? The girl that played that woman in the yard,
but not completely aesthetic. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, nah. But to see her acting on screen in these scenes, you what you're seeing is the seasoned vet. You see how she's like she's very seasoned with her acting, and that's one thing that I really was not surprised, but more just like really excited about. Once I saw it, I was like, oh, she's really good. And I think that they one of the things that they said was she auditioned for the part
of Shuri,
and they didn't. No. That's not. Well, that may be a different storyline. But what I'm talking about is she auditioned for the part of Riri Williams, and the directors didn't interview anybody else. Is what I'm saying. Like that after her interview, they were like, "She's Riri Williams." Like you know what I'm saying? Like her audition was that good to where they were like, "We don't need to see nobody else. We got our Riri Williams."
Okay, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but as I understand it, she auditioned for the role of Shuri in Black Panther, the original Black Panther, and she was beat out by that role by Letitia Wright. And as a result, but they was like, yo, but this chick right here, though, like don't keep your phone, lock my number in, because we gonna holler at you. But this role right here, we're gonna go ahead and give it to the lady from overseas. But we gonna fuck with you. And so correct me if I'm wrong, chat. But that's what I recall reading. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like this is something that I researched. Ty, you do such a good job of research. I don't want to put any of that, you know what I'm saying, down. But I do.
I don't think you're wrong. I'm not saying that she did not at some point, audition for Shuri. What I'm saying is that when they decided to do an Ironheart project, and they were, doing auditions for the Ironheart project. From what I read in the article, she auditioned for the role of Riri Williams, and they were like, "That's Riri Williams. Like we got our person." Like so, both can exist. I don't know.
The chat's giving me perhaps I might be right vibes, but I'm not going to plant any flags. I do want to say this. I recall that scene when the young lady at MIT scolded Riri. But if you from the same generation I'm from, you saw that scene as Bill Cosby talking to his son Theo, because this is a famous episode where Theo was doing terribly in school, right? And so Bill went up to his room to talk to him because he was getting C's and D's. And Theo gave this long speech. He's like, well, listen, man. He's like, well son, you're not doing. He's like, well, I'm just going to get a job like regular people. He's like, well, I'm a doctor. Your mom is a lawyer. All right. He's like, what does this mean, even regular people? He's like, I don't know, drive a bus. You know what I'm saying? Just be a regular person. You know what I'm saying? He's like, and then he gives a speech. He's like, and I don't understand. Like, I'm trying to tell you that I just want to be a regular person. And you shouldn't judge me, Dad, because I'm not necessarily doing as well as you and Mom. If I express that I want to be a regular person, then you should love me just the same. Not because I'm this or that, but because I'm your son. And he like looks away like this. And then the crowd, the studio audience is like, woo! And then Bill Cosby says, son, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. He said, now you are afraid to try because you think if you actually try, then your brain is going to come oozing out of your ears. Now you are going to study because you're going to work and you're going to do a good job because that's what the fuck we are. Like he went off. But it was such a classic, what we call in comedy, a misdirection because the crowd is all, and then I even recall, like, hopefully, you know what, if I chop this up, we're going to chop this up with that scene because Theo, aka Malcolm Jamal Warner, he stands with his hands like this. Like, I remember at the end of the scene, he's looking like this, and everybody's starting clapping. And then Bill Cosby's sitting on the bed, and he says, son, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. You're like, you afraid to try. And so that to me says that perhaps, I don't know this for a fact, maybe Ant does because he knows her personally, but I feel like Tanaka got that directly from I'm not saying she's ripped it from it, but I'm saying that she's inspired from the same stuff I was inspired by growing up. You know what I'm saying? It's not a biting thing. It's just inspiration is what I'm trying to say. I think is dope. One final thing about the Ironheart whole debacle, which actually, believe it or not, this last thing that I just had up actually kind of goes into what I was saying. I don't know if y'all peeped it, but I just did a side by side. Sometimes when I set up these Jones on the screen, I just try to make it so that, you know, I know a lot of podcasts, like, it's just, you know, we talk to the screen and, you know, and it's just us four and here we are, we're talking and it's our opinion and yes. But I got undiagnosed ADHD like to the max. So I kind of feel like it helps it when it looks kind of more like a TV show with stuff like that. Every now and then you'll see us do it like a side by side, like with this right here. And if you peek real quick, you notice that on this side by side in the comment section, there's this huge thumbs down. And this thumbs down is kind of indicative, in my opinion, of what happens. Speaking of what Ryan Coogler was talking about with regard to the internet and people that live on the internet and how sometimes the internet, because it's so loud, will seem like it's real. But he's saying that it's not real. But I'm not going to lie, it's difficult to really deal with that when you have stuff like this popping up and you see that people are actively making the attempt to weaponize the internet to get the results they want for a show that they don't even have the courtesy to watch. Like, they're already just trying to hate bomb and critic bomb the show. It's only been out for a few days. There is a way that people feel about shows that are led by people that they don't feel like should be in that picture or in that position. And they go out of their way to demolish the show. It's a whole phenomenon. It is a whole phenomenon. There are legitimate ways to criticize Ironheart. All right. I feel like there are legitimate ways. Let me give you an example. There's a guy named Roger Ebert. Some old heads might be familiar.
Siskel and Ebert.
Ebert and them. Yeah. So Roger Ebert did a review on Ironheart, and he actually had some critiques that you may or may not find legitimate, but at the very least, they're critiques about the show and not about the wokeness and all of that. I'll show this to you real quick, just briefly, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on. We're gonna skip down because a lot of it is really fluffy. But he basically says right here that according to him, and this is like I said, this is what I call a legit, at least, criticism. When the two are, it's a shame that the series seems so intent on burying its lead beneath the rubble of the dying franchise to which she belongs, because Thorne delivers a performance that's nothing short of revelatory. She captures Riri's cockiness with ease, radiating with the bravado and charisma that not many of these new characters have. So he's not talking shit about Riri. Dominique Thorne is not a victim of him being mad at her, of him just being mad, angry at black people being on screen. As she's swept up in a life that becomes increasingly dangerous, Thorne faces shudder Under the pressure of Riri's sorrow, eyes wide in fear, perpetual state of grief, she shines a light in a series that feels shrouded in darkness and almost feels desperate to bore viewers lest they get attached to this captivating character who she could have become. This is a weird slap, but it is at bare minimum a critique that is not wrenched in woke. I don't mind something that delves into how you like or don't like the show. But what I do really hate is when folks simply see the flyer and say, woke bullshit, I will trash it, and I will gather my army to assist them in that. I don't agree with this critique, by the way. I think it's way off, except for how she captures the character. But I think that there's room for criticism without being a complete asshole. You know what I'm saying? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
No, you hit it right on the head, and I'm not totally opposed to the critique. I think that there is some truth in what he said. Me and both agreed when we watched it the first time. If I'm being 100 clear, transparent, I wasn't impressed. When I watched it when I literally sat there and watched it with my wife, the first episode, I was like, I hope this gets better. I hope this gets better. And then when I watched it the second time again, that was when I kind of knew that I had to watch it differently. Like, I'm watching this with these expectations of it, and I think my expectations were rooted in what I saw in Sinners. And so my whole thing was like, all right, so I know that I'm going to get the real good shots and everything like that, that Coogler is famous for and everything like that. And you do. But I think that there was, in the first couple of episodes, there were moments where you could lose attention. Your attention span was not totally, peaked. So, so I think that there are definitely some truth in his critiques. My problem, as well as your problem, and my issue was the 30% rating that it got on Rotten Tomatoes before the series even came out. And that's what Rotten Tomatoes was doing what they were doing, was because how are you going to review something negatively that you haven't even seen yet? Yep. And that's the real problem. Is you have a clear message of sabotage that you're basically promoting. You're trying to sabotage this thing before it even gets a chance to roll out. So I think that just speaks to the level of hatred that people are walking around with and manifest whenever they get an opportunity to start clicking buttons on a keyboard. And that's what happens. And I think it's unfortunate. But I think that we, as content creators, have to be conscious of that, and we also have to make sure that we don't give any credence to these assholes and these people who have nothing better to do than perpetuate hate, because that's all they're looking for, really, honestly, is for somebody to talk about them. And I think Brian put it, as eloquent as any of us could do, and basically said, look, you have to acknowledge and know that these people just wake up and choose violence every day. That is what they do. They literally wake up and they're like, what can I do to destroy, civilization? And that, so if that's what it's going to be, that's what it's going to be. But we, as the light bringers, have to understand that and push the needle the opposite direction.
Oh, are we bringers of the light? We're bringers of the light.
We are
the light. Oh, thank the light that we found you. Oh, Targaryen of the Trollocs. The Trollocs. They're coming.
You added two shows together.
Nah, well, he said the light, and it just took me to the what's that show y'all love?
Wheel of Time.
Yeah, the Wheel of Time.